What's happening, guys? I want to come back and talk about something else. I wanted to talk about conservatism, conservatives for that matter, because I feel a lot of people consider themselves to be conservative or think they're conservative. In reality, they might just be liberals, which most conservatives really are. They are liberals. I'm not going to get into a whole definition-based, argument over what's a liberal, what's a conservative. It's because throughout the nature of history, most people haven't really identified as liberal or conservative, for that matter. So it really is just kind of, a Burger King, have it your way kind of thing. So really, in reality, conservatives, in the definition that we think that they are, we think that how they are conservative, it hasn't been really that long. So I mean, really, yeah, it's like there might be people that can say life's always been conservative, the Renaissance was conservative. I mean, but then you can also say there were factions of history that were liberal. The Renaissance being one of them. I mean, might not be a good example. Or the time of the Enlightenment, that's, where liberalism maybe started. But really, if you look at the definitions of both liberalism and conservatism, they might seem different. Liberals being probably more focused on progress and community, as opposed to conservatives being more traditionalist and religion-based and more rugged individualism. That's something that keeps getting thrown around. But if you look at the average conservative, though, especially right now, in the way that we've all been being brought up, conservatives are just the flip side of the liberal in terms of being consumers. They are just consumers. They just they conform to a different doctrine or a different framework. It's liberals are, called out by conservatives for being cultists. They have a cult mind, which is, it's true. You replace religion with this untethered atheism, or I think that's the wrong word, but this just vacant void, and you can fill it with anything. That's why most so-called progressives, stupid leftists, they'll fill any kind of ideology in there. Most of them become like full-on, socialists and become Marxists, which are also terms and ideologies that I think are really not something I would call myself. I'm not going to vouch for the socialists or the Marxists. They can speak for themselves, but conservatives don't even know what the hell those things are. They see anything that government does that they don't agree with as socialist and conservative. When in reality, if you look up the definitions, it's like, oh my god, history, Marxist, communism. It's like, bro, half of the things that look into maybe back in the days when the unions were first starting, it was like that would have been seen as communism. But what were the unions doing? They were literally just making it so that you didn't have to slave away, or at least you didn't have to at the time, slave away 14, 16 hours, getting paid dirt, and meanwhile your children are having to work in a factory. So that was seen as communism. It's like these conservatives didn't, everything was communism back in the day. Just like right now with the stupid leftists, everything's a fascist, everything's Nazism, everything's racism. But I digress. But to get back on conservatives, they are the same person, really, just with a different, coat on, just with a different, they are literally just liberals with cowboy boots and terrible attitudes. They literally, abide by the framework of neoliberalism. they share the same government. It's not like conservatives actually abide by like some kind of Mormon doctrine or framework where they completely ostracize themselves from society. No, their wishes are to stay integrated with society. They actually wish to change the society to fit their views, but nowadays, you're not gonna get more conservative people, at least in the people in the evangelical Bible thumping style of conservatism, because watching some videos, I think that was actually a new phenomenon, or at least in the way that we see it now. But conservatives, they do the same things. Other politicians are the same. That's why right now we've seen such things as the Uniparty, because in reality, the people, they vote in these so-called representatives. They don't represent them at all, but they might come in there thinking that their boy is going to be supporting their values, when in reality they're just politicians. It's all money, it's all a racket. But conservatives, they watch the same shows, they have internet access, they drive cars. They are literally, just by definition, they're just liberals. They believe in this liberal social order. They hide behind this cope that it's a constitutional republic. It's a constitutional republic. We're not a democracy here. It's like, yeah, we're not a democracy, but we're like, what has your constitutional republic done for you? It's like, think about it. Just conservative. It doesn't mean anything. I considered myself conservative until I realized that it's just like, what does it do? What are you really conserving? You don't conserve anything. For the longest time, conservative just really was more of like a synonymous with being economically conservative, fiscally conservative. That's, for a while, that's what it was. I think, for at least during the the early 2000s, late 90s. If you were conservative, all you would talk about was the economy. So lame. And nowadays, being a conservative just means that you go to church on Sunday. You might have a shotgun and a deer rifle somewhere, but other than that, really, it's all just aesthetically. It really means nothing. You might wear cowboy boots and go to a honky tonk, but all it is, really, you can be that. You can literally just have that aesthetic and be a Democrat, and it would make just as much sense. I mean, to be conservative nowadays and think that you're fighting for something, I don't know. I just don't see it, man. Especially when, literally everyone that you vote in, they're all supposed rhinos. Can you understand? It's like, if every single one of them is a rhino, and you can't seem to get the good ones in, it just goes to show you that it's not just those people. It's just your actual framework, that everything that you're working with, you're literally being a part of the system, thinking that you can change the system, when in reality, the system will change you. It makes no sense. It's like, conservatives want to be the outliers. They claim to be religious, but in reality, you think Jesus would have agreed with anything that the government was doing? The whole give to Caesar what is Caesar's and to God what is God's. That was him getting out of a situation that could have gotten him killed. But what do you think he got killed for? According to the scriptures, he got killed for being an insurrectionist, someone that was, blaspheming, a heretic. He didn't tout exactly what the Pharisees and the Zealots and the Sadducees, whatever. He wasn't touting that party line. So, and it was even I forgot where I saw it too, but the supposed thieves that were crucified next to him, they were also, I don't think they were thieves. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they were actually also insurrectionists, or as they were seen as enemies of the state, which is basically the enemies of Rome, the Roman Empire in Judea. So I don't know, man. It's like this whole idea of being Christian and being a good patriot, serving your country. It makes no sense if you really think about it. It's the cognitive dissonance that most conservatives have. It's like I'm a Christian, I believe in God Almighty, yet my allegiance is to this government that routinely tramples on my supposed virtues, my supposed beliefs. I mean, think about it. We are the Sodom and Gomorrah. If you think, I don't think in those terms in the real, but I still go to it. I'm a former Catholic myself, but I mean, what are we? We murder millions of children every year. We are addicted to all types of degeneracy, substance abuse, and we cope by saying that this is a Christian nation. When in reality, it's like we're not a Christian nation. We're just another nation with this Christian facade. I mean, yeah, is it better than most Islamo countries? Yeah, but I mean, there comes a point where you peak. You start, if you drink enough throughout the day, you're gonna peak to the point where you're not gonna feel the same as you. I forget what kind of peak it is, but it's like, yeah, it doesn't matter what you put in yourself after that. You're not gonna reach that peak. So we have peaked. Who knows when? But this idea that we can get back to our former glory as a nation, it's laughable. Internet, technology, and yeah, I don't know, just, this in techno-industrial, it's like, oh, I don't want to have to, like, beat the Ted Kaczynski horse every time, but it's like, yeah, it's like there's so much that technology and internet has destroyed. It has atomized the nuclear family, which was even just, yeah, that's like a modern invention too. It's like we should be having more than just a nuclear family. We shouldn't just having 4 people in a family unit. We should be having, families that are connected, see each other every day, and living in the same house to a certain extent, with 20 people. It's like you should be having your aunts and uncles around you. You should be having your grandma and grandpa right there in the same domain. You shouldn't be having to see each other once or twice a year to just say that you're a family. That's asinine. Most of the third world doesn't live by those standards, and they probably don't have the same issues we do, but maybe they probably do now because of the internet, and we're all becoming the same individual. But this idea that, I don't really believe conservatives believe in the family either. But, I mean, what do I know? I mean, it's... I'm just talking to people on the internet. But, yeah, conservatives, I mean, I don't know. It's not the way, man. Conservatism is dead. It's been dead, and it's continuing to be dead. You don't conserve anything. Just stop supporting the government. It's like, I got to put my blue line. My blue line. I'm a conservative. I'm just for